I favor statehood for Puerto Rico.
That the people of Puerto Rico should have the right to determine their own political future.
When the people of Puerto Rico make a clear decision, my administration will stand by you.
Puerto Ricans are excelling in every aspect of American life and have been for years. And it's amazing how many people take vacations to Puerto Rico, reference Puerto Rico, and don't know that Puerto Rico is part of America. America took over the territory and came in with its own imperialism. So what was used as farmland to feed the people of Puerto Rico previously, American sugar companies came in, bought the land cheap from the government, started growing sugar cane, and that basically caused a food shortage. Operation Bootstrap was they basically went to New York because the same promise was made of better jobs, a better way of life. But it was, again, the importation of cheap labor this time. I talk about Spanish Harlem being the center of the culture. Basically, they were integrated into an already strong culture of Black culture, and they were welcomed with open arms. It became literally one culture. We're moving up to the present. You have Bad Bunny. He, chooses to support the community and bring to light some of the problems that Puerto Ricans are facing currently in America and in the world. So I have nothing but respect for him, and I think he should be applauded.
Whoa. What's all that about? You mad at me or something?
I don't know. Did you do something to make me mad? Because then I am. But if you didn't, then I am not.
It goes back to like old Hollywood, even vaudeville, where it was a lot of anti-Mexican racism. And so the men were all like villainous greasers. They were portrayed as that. And then the women were all like cantankerous cantina girls. And there's some Lupe Velez clips that I found in my research where she gets knocked into water and she gets mad, right? And she's yelling at the guy. And he's like, oh, I've never seen someone get mad so quickly. He just knocked her into water. She's soaking wet, like in her clothes. And so she has a right to be mad, but it's being portrayed as that she's being irrational. And when she's like yelling at him, she switches to Spanish, which kind of like subtly suggests that the part of her that is irrational is, foreign. I think that's what cemented this kind of idea into the zeitgeist. But being like Puerto Rican, it's incredibly diverse. You know what I mean? But this portrayal erases Afro-Boricua, mixed race, queer, working class activists and intellectuals. Iris Morales, again, she's saying that like to be Puerto Rican and a woman, it means confronting layers of invisibility. Not just are you invisible as, you're not accepted as an American, you're not accepted by, other Puerto Ricans. Part of the backlash too is that, Jennifer Lopez, I believe, sang in English, right? And she's very fair-skinned. She's very light-skinned. You know what I mean? And I think that like that might also be part of why she didn't receive as much backlash as Bad Bunny.
He's preferring Spanish. He already said before that my songs are all Spanish. If you want to know what they mean, you better start, learning it. I'm not going to do it in English or try to beat yours. I'm going to do my own way, I was surprised to know that it turns out most of the public are already fine with Bad Bunny's inclusion. There was an interview with some NFL fans, just general people at a game, and they were just asked the simple question, what are your thoughts on Bad Bunny? And most of them are very optimistic about the piece appearance. They think generally it's a good way to represent Latinos and other minorities. And some, and I think it's most importantly, they like his quality of music and they're still enjoying it, even if they don't understand Spanish or not. It doesn't mean like everyone of his own kind is kind of supportive, which I was surprised of. I found one person who's Hispanic. He said that he's not criticizing his race, obviously, but he calls him out for being a general piece of shit and as a hypocrite because of his hatred of America, despite He's going to be attending this largest event, which is known as For America. I was looking into a survey by Quinnipiac University, and when it came to the public opinion on NFL's decision to even have Bad Bunny perform, I found out like only 48% people approve, which to comparison is bigger than the other sides. Only 39% don't approve, and only 24% just stayed quiet about it, did not provide an opinion. So that's just a general overview on the situation for Bad Bunny's apparel. That's why Jay-Z was also fine, because he claims that people really love Benito. He already understands the floor he's on. He already canceled plans during his own world tour just because it'd be a threat for minorities and everyone. Though, to be honest, I think most of them should be understandable that they're just going to watch on TV in the comfort of their home.
The major record labels weren't happy with these Latin artists coming in and taking over the radio airwaves. And so we saw a silencing of Puerto Rican culture in American music. And then what took place was those artists, many of those artists, had to relegate themselves to Spanish language music. For many years, Puerto Ricans tried to conform to American music. So now we're in a really interesting time because we are now presenting ourselves as we are unapologetically. Bad Bunny is not only a remarkable artist, but what is going to be the mark of him in years to come is going to be his authenticity and his kindness and his humanity and his love for his people. That is going to be his legacy. Because in the end, music is about identity and about customs, culture, and expression of our identities. And it through our dance, through our music, through our voices, we get to coexist and bring forward these cultural messages for generation after generation, telling our stories through this music. So it has been a vehicle for us to be able to remind people of who we are. And these recordings of music is our way of documenting our story for the rest of time.
I think just Puerto Rican storytellers telling stories about Puerto Ricans. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that they are in the best position to write authentically, like parts authentically that represent people that they know. I think that like we can't wait for other people to represent us, right?
I don't know if you know, but there's this little song that was kind of popular a couple of years ago, Despacito.
Despacito.
Yeah, everyone remember that?
Yeah.
It's like during
The
that
first
year.
YouTube that broke to a billion views.
Oh
That was
man.
the
Yeah.
first one.
And so Despacito from Luis Fonsi, when I remember when that came out, it was everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Hell,
That's right.
I clearly remember one of my homework assignments was even analyzing that video just because how much of a big impact.
Yeah.
But it also addresses like the country's detrimental state at the time.
I commend Bad Bunny, a young person, and I think back on like what Frederick Douglass talked about. He said, "Power does not concede anything without demand. So you have to agitate and fight for what you want."
Right.
Like my grandmother used to always tell me, "The closed mouth gets no food."
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think, I'm positive of it. The people of Puerto Rico will get the things that they need.
I believe that Puerto Ricans have shown resilience and
Absolutely.
strength through so many hard times, through elections, through history, and will show that we will continue and continue to share our love with the rest of the country and as a part of the country, and we know who we are. So we're not going to let anyone erase or change us.